about CPM?
Only in my dreams.
Back in the day.
CPM?
No, OS2.
Does everybody know that story, by the way? How Microsoft became Microsoft? The Microsoft that it is today. Do you know the story? Okay, let me tell you that story. We'll give us something to talk about along. But come on in and have a seat anywhere. These are comfortable chairs here. Okay, so I don't remember the date. It was in 1985 or 1986 when IBM developed the first personal computer. They opted for an open architecture. Apple opted for a closed architecture. Big mistake, I think. IBM was great at developing hardware back then, but truly terrible at software and operating systems. None of their main operating systems were worth the shit, and they were burdensome, difficult to develop applications for. The multitasking didn't work very well. So they built the hardware for the personal computer and made the hardware open source. Very smart idea. Wait, that can't be done.
Put them on live chat.
Put it on Hangout.
Right now. Okay, so IBM had an open source hardware platform. You had a bus that you could plug all sorts of motherboards. You could plug any sort of peripheral device into. But they were time critical. And IBM developed a personal computer by forming a completely separate company in every respect. Separately funded, separately managed, so they didn't have to deal with the burdensome overhead of this massive, gargantuan dinosaur corporation. So they built this device in less than a year. They didn't have time to do the software. There were two companies that had software platforms. One was a company called Digital Research, based in LA, and the other was called Microsoft, based up in Bellevue, Washington. Neither one had more than 5 employees. IBM chose Digital Research first, whose operating system was CPM. It was sort of a bizarre sort of operating system based partially on the same principle that DOS was based on. So they came in on Friday afternoon with this proposal saying, look, we want you to write give us operating system forwarded to our 8086 processor, and we'll pay you $10,000, but you will have the rights to the software. Guys at Digital Research said, well, we're going to have our lawyers look at this contract. The contract is about 9,000 pages, typical IBM. They said we don't have time. They hopped on an airplane, flew up to Bellevue, sat down with Bill Gates, and he said, absolutely, I'll do it for free. And as a result, when IBM's open architecture started being duplicated by Dell and every other manufacturer on the planet, Microsoft became the de facto standard for the IBM-based computers. I don't know why that story appeals to me so much, other than the fact that Bill Gates was smart enough to proceed right away. I don't give a shit about the contract. As long as it says in there, this is my software. Which they assured him it did, and I found pointed into the paragraph 9,450, subparagraph 3. I think that's cool, I'll sign it. And then the rest was history. So Digital Research would have been the de facto standard and would have been the largest software company in the world today, had they not chosen to call the lawyers first. The moral of the story is, no lawyers do it at any time. So, okay, what do you guys want to talk about today? You're all Android people. Okay. First of all, what is your single biggest complaint about Android? Anybody?
Battery life.
Pardon?
Battery life.
Privacy. Well, battery life is a big one, true. Anything else?
Privacy.
Privacy. Did you say privacy?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Security. Isn't it the fact that everything about Android as implemented in your smartphones is designed to do one thing? Make information gathering about yourself the prime purpose of the operating system and all of its features. This is not true. Does anybody disagree with it? As implemented in the smartphones that you have. Is this something that you really like? Purchasing something that has firmware and applications and other facilities on it that have one purpose: to give as much ease to app developers to access everything about your life as possible, where you are, who you're with if possible, what your contacts are, what your text messages say, what your emails say. And if you look at the privileges that you give many of these apps, which will not run, of course, unless you do give them these privileges, you'll find that they are all, with very few exceptions, asking for permissions they do not need. Does anybody have a Bible reading app with a Bible belt here? Okay. Have you checked its permissions?
Yeah, I think it probably did.
I can guarantee you what they are, and I can tell you exactly who they're sending the information to. Okay. Every Bible reading app that I have seen asks permissions to read your emails, access your contacts, read your text messages, make calls on your behalf for which you must pay them, to send any information that they retrieve or access to any place that they choose. And that place that they choose is a data center in Atlanta owned by Focus on the Family. Now, you give them permission to do this. You give them permission to turn on the microphone. Now, for a Bible reading app, that doesn't say you're reading to the app. No, it's reading to you. It's a digitized voice that late at night you can read the Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, etc., etc. Why does it need access to your microphone and your camera? And why is it taking pictures and videos and sending them to Focus on the Family? Doesn't that sound excessive for an application designed to read to you? I defy you to find more than 10% of applications on your phone that do not ask for permissions that are not necessary for the functioning of the application. What about flashlight apps? Pardon? Notorious. Now, we built our own at Future Tense for demonstrations. I should have bought it today. They're trivial. They're trivial, what, 4 hours? I mean, they're trivial. All they do is they turn on the flash on your camera, for heaven's sake. And then you have a little screen with an on-off switch. How hard is that? Everything is off the shelf. However, they all ask for permission to do bizarre things. Ours ask for permission to take photos and shoot videos. And so when you press the flash, whatever you're taking, whatever the flashlight, whatever you're looking at, we video, or we take still photos of, and then it sends it to an email address that I have access to, then I can see exactly what you're doing.
Whoa, what's the name of that? I'm very nervous about this.
No, it's not public.
Say why.
It's accessible. I come in and I give everybody a specific. Where is it this week? Is it on Future Tense?
I don't know.
Central Web. It's not on the website. Okay. I didn't come prepared to do that. I thought this was going to be a question and answer session. So sorry. Next time I'll bring it to them. Just how easy it is. So what I would do is I would say, okay, everybody, what I'd like you to do is write something secret on a piece of paper, then illuminate it with a flashlight. And then I would randomly say, okay, well, something says you're an asshole. Are you talking about me? So the guy goes, oh, wow, cool. But this is what they do. 4 hours it takes to develop an app like this. They're all free. Why are people doing it? Not out of the goodness of their heart. They want something. I mean, if you had parents that loved you even remote, they should have told you somewhere along the line that there is nothing free in this world. Nothing. And if it appears to be free, it's going to be far more expensive than the equivalent item that costs something. This is just the way the world works. So for me, my biggest problem with Android is I want an Android that I can say, now, if everything's working fine, I want an appless Android. Okay, what I need is I need a word processor and email and text messages. Really, I don't need anything else, and a telephone, and maybe a game or two that seems secure. Right? Frozen free phones, whatever. And then I want to say, freeze this thing. I don't want anybody to push down an update to the operating system, an update to any app that I have on here. Nothing. No one can do anything to this phone to change its state. Now, how hard is that? It's pretty freaking hard, isn't it? No, I mean, I could root it, I could get Tal root if I have the right version and run it without much trouble. Root it, and when it frees everything, that's a lot of trouble. I mean, pick the average Samsung phone with AT&T. out, you've got 400 apps that are active. And you gotta go through and figure out now which ones, if I freeze this one, what's it gonna do to the rest of the system? Right, and you're gonna find out that nothing works anymore. You know, all your emails get sent to yourself or weird shit. So no, I don't want that. That's too much trouble for me. It really is. I mean, I'm old and lazy. I wanna buy something. I'll pay an extra
You want it made
$100.
for you.
Pardon?
You want it made for you, you don't want to have to make it.
Yes, I don't wanna have to build my own friggin' system every time I buy a new telephone or get a new service. Or if I'm using Verizon and I move from Lexington, Tennessee to Henderson, Tennessee, well, Verizon doesn't work. I've now got to switch to AT&T. I don't want to have to do that. It's time consuming, it's troublesome, and it's risky. You have no idea what you're doing to the state of the system by freezing, disabling, or uninstalling various apps. And they do this on purpose, just to fuck with you, right? Do not mess with our system. We gave you these apps because you need them. You need S-Finder. You need to, you need everything we've given you at some point. The health thing. You may think you're healthy, but you need our health app. And if you disable it, then you're fucked. I don't want that. I want to be able to choose myself. I don't want your health app. I don't want your magazine app. I don't want your news app. When I want to see the news, I will turn on the TV, or I will go Google it, or go to Yahoo. I'll find some way to find out. I don't need you bothering me by all these pushes to my phone. Number one, you're chewing up my bandwidth, and number two, you're confusing me with garbage that doesn't really interest me. So this is my problem. I mean, performance is always a problem. I don't care. If we had supercomputers, we had the largest Cray system right here, we'd still be complaining about more performance. I'm trying to crack passwords for the Pentagon, and it's taking 4 days. I mean, I've got nothing to do. So whatever. We're always going to complain about performance, and performance, I'm not belittling, is a serious issue. Well, I tell you what, if you got a smartphone with no apps on it, your performance would increase by 90% right off the bat. I mean, that's one solution to performance. So I mean, this is the issue. And you don't realize that you're being spied on. You don't consider that. You're merely letting them get information about you. That's how you look at it. Oh yeah, they're collecting information. Well, it's spying, depending on what they do with that information. I mean, it's really annoying if they use it so that if you're on Facebook and you Google something, then suddenly you start getting ads for the things you Googled on Facebook. Now, what magic is that? Had this happened 10 years ago, we would all be worshiping the device because it had to be divine. But we just call it information gathering. That's a very dangerous attitude to have, isn't it? To think, okay, I don't care. The attitude that Google wants us to believe, and by the way, I'm banned on almost every Google campus, so if anybody hears from Google, do not go back and tell your boss that I was here. So, and over some minor incident involving a joke.
So now we need to know about what that joke was. Now we need to know about that joke.
Well, it's more than just a joke. Okay, I mean, first of all, it's no secret that I trash Google more than I trash any other thing, but in a good sense. I mean, first of all, Google is the greatest thing that's ever happened. It really is, because we have access to the world's knowledge base at our fingertips. It frees us from dependence on school, government, authority. Isn't freedom from authority one of the greatest goals of humankind? Google allows that. That's a good sign. Here's the bad sign. It is insidious at getting this information to create the knowledge base. I don't want a knowledge base based on your personal life. I mean, I'm sure you're a nice man. And there's very interesting stuff that's happening in your life. And if you choose to share it with me over a drink sometime, that would be great. But I don't want to have to Google and see your personal life pop up. It's a violation of you, isn't it? And yet, this is what Google is attempting to do. And while at the same time protecting us. How do you do that? It's like the NSA coming and saying, look, we're here to protect you. In order to do that, we have to delve into the most secret aspects of your life and your existence to assure you that you are not the enemy we're trying to protect you from. Do you see that logic? This is the truth of it. And do you see the insanity of that? We're buying it. We suck it. Well, thank you. Here, so take a look. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. This is what the SS would interrogated your children, and arrested you for thought crime. This is the fact. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. That is utter garbage. Utter garbage. What are we without privacy? I ask you, what is privacy? Isn't it a choice? When you go to a strange supermarket and buy a Coke, you might communicate with the checkout clerk. Do you tell them the intimate details of last night? Probably not. If you're drunk enough, maybe you will. But it's your choice. And more than likely, you will not divulge more than a snippet of your reality. Like, how you feel about today? Nice day. That's how I feel about it. Or whatever. You're not going to say, well, you know, I had a foursome last night with 3 Taiwan prostitutes and a horse. I'm sorry. You're right, I think. But maybe most of us would choose not to divulge that information if that was actually part of our existence. We might, however, choose to divulge it with our best friends. Like, dude, I got to tell you about this. I've heard about it. You know, 3 Taiwan hookers and a horse. You got to try. That's okay. But it's your choice. It's your choice. Now, what if we all of us, knew everything about everybody else? I claim there would be chaos and riots in the streets because we are judgmental people with our own principles and our own sense of beliefs about what is good and bad and what is right and wrong. And so suddenly, the Muslim living next to you who divulges that, yeah, you know, I'm kind of a terrorist and I might want to take down America. I mean, you might want to know that information, but he might not want you to. And there may be parts of your life that are very benign. Your belief system, your benign actions, which are offensive to fundamental Christians or fundamental Muslims or women. That's a hard one. So you know, if we don't have that choice of levels of privacy which we divulge, and you don't realize that throughout the day you exercise this privilege hundreds of times. I'm standing before you. No one's jumping up and telling me a secret yet. And I'm sure you all have one. And if you don't, you need a wife. This is the truth of it. Do not buy this concept that if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. You have everything to fear. Our entire society will collapse if we buy into them. It will either collapse or it will stabilize into a horrific version of George Orwell's 1984, where we all wear gray and we all conform to the same principle. And we are trying to narrow language down to one word and concept down to one concept, love of Big Brother. And that will be our world. That will be it. And if that's what you want, and maybe some people desire that, I don't know, maybe it might be nice with sufficient drugs. But if that's what you want, okay, but I don't, and I don't think you do either. I don't. So you have to protect your privacy, and you cannot buy into. And it's not in Google's interest, nor Facebook's, nor Twitter's, nor anybody's interest to stop this process of invasion into your existence. Here's the problem. Here's that dual-edged sword. Google, which has done the greatest thing for human knowledge, and also the most invasive and tragic thing to the human individual. What do? We can't get rid of it. We can't, by the way, throw these things away. This is the living manifestation of Pandora's box. We opened it. It's out. It ain't going back in. It's not. I don't care if we came with guns and put them to your head, you would still find a way to buy one, hide one, and use one. So it's out. We now have to learn how to live with the demons that have come with it and survive. Because these are not benign demons. These are not demons that are just going to come and harass you in the middle of the night, keep you awake, you know, sexually frustrate you, whatever. No, these are demons that are trying to destroy the very fabric of your personality, the very fabric of your humanity. So this is my problem with Android and iOS and all the rest. You know, I mean, and it doesn't matter what you do. We can use Phantom OS in here, which by the way is a great, I like an object-based world rather than a file-based world that sort of mirrors my my old attitude toward women, which was eradicated as they started trying to kill me in mass. But, even if we had an object-based world and an invisible operating system and stability, we'd still have the problem. Because the powers that be still need access to your life. What are you buying? What color is it? How much did it cost? When's the last time you bought one? What store did you buy it at? Are you happy with it? Did a friend buy it for you? And by the way, where are your friends? Are they with you? When's the last time you talked to them? What did you talk about? These are the things that are very important and powerful and valuable to corporations. But they are much more valuable to you. Microsoft says that the average information for the average American is worth $800 per year. I promise you, to you, keeping that information out of the public is worth far more. Far more. You are being cheated. Because you're not even getting the $800, are you? Now, well, there's the problem. Number one, you're not even being reimbursed for the loss of your humanity, for the loss of your privacy. And we're just talking about benign organizations. Google's not out to destroy the world. It's not out to punish you for anything. It's simply out to get into your life as far and as deep as it can for economic gain. Cool, I understand that. There are powers that be and forces in this world who do not have benign intent. The Chinese have hated the Western world ever since the barbarians, first invaded their shores. 5,000 years ago, they were weaving silks, singing songs and writing poetry. We were wearing bear skins. We are the barbarians, and we overcame, overpowered, and took control. You think that they're going to forget that? No, and they have not. 5 years ago, a cyber war began with China. We just don't know about it. You can nod your head yes or no.
I can't longer ago than that.
Well, it began in earnest, I say. It began, they didn't call it a cyber. We've been at war since the 1700s. You know, when the first ships got to the shores of Japan, and we crossed the little strait of China, or whatever it's called. So, no. But 5 years ago, in earnest, look at what happened in the past year. The Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, the Department of Defense, and last but certainly not least, the Office of Personnel Management. 20 million records of every single employee of the U.S. government for the past 50 years. This includes all of our top secret cleared government employees and contractors. Now, it's not just, our poor spies, you know, the 15,000 spies we have overseas, which were suddenly, outed, and we have no clue what happened to them. No. It's the information. I mean, I have a top secret security clearance, or I had, it's long since expired. The questions that they ask you, you can't possibly believe. It's not simply have you taken drugs, have you sold drugs, have you cheated on your wife, no, have you had sex with a sheep? I mean, things that you can't even think to question. You can't imagine asking the question. All of this information, your medical history, your sexual preferences are now out in the hands of an alien and not benevolent agency. Yes, sir, you have a question?
So let's say all that information is out there.
Yes.
In the far, far future where we know.
I'm kind of hard of hearing, so I'm coming
Okay,
close.
so let's say all that information is out there. In the
Yes.
far, far future where we know a lot more about people. Or we know everything about everyone's life. That's out there in the public. Is there a benefit to everyone having access to the truth? I mean, it's just like a disparity.
Let's see, what is the truth? Is there a benefit to everyone having access to the truth? It's a benefit to know that the information is out there. Is it a benefit for you to know his personal life? No, it's not. You may think it is.
Let's say there are a lot more people there into having sex with sheep or whatever than you previously would have imagined. There's benefit.
They're what now?
A lot more people into having sex with sheep than you would have previously imagined.
And the problem would be? No, I'm being serious here. What would you do about it? Would you?
That would change the way we think about, I guess, people doing that sort of stuff, or it can change the way we think about fundamentalist Christians or fundamentalist Muslims, or whatever it is that we think. I mean.
Well, okay, I see what you're saying. That that if we knew everything about everybody, one side benefit would be we would have a greater understanding. But the negative of that, we are judgmental people. We are not perfect creatures. We have fear, animosity, hopes, and dreams. We have jealousy, anger, and hatred, as well as love. Now, with all of this mixed in together, do you think knowing everything about everybody is a good thing? I guarantee you, we would have riots in the streets. While you would be thinking, okay, so the fundamentalist Christians might be right or they might be wrong, or I feel sorry for the sheep. Someone's gonna go, wait a minute, I don't like the way you think about whatever, a political situation, or your attitude toward women, or your attitude toward Muslims, and someone's gonna come after you. You're expecting everybody to be benevolent, gracious, and balanced in the acceptance of everybody else's faults. No, it's not gonna happen. If it was gonna happen, it would have happened through evolution. You would not have today the concept of privacy. How many of you have whispered ever to anyone? Duh. Okay. And by the way, the NSA and the CIA want us to stop doing that electronically by preventing us from encrypting our communications, right? But isn't that just whispering over the internet? This is my wife, who's also in the video that many of you may have seen, Janice. I will sit next to her sometimes and whisper in her ear. What we whisper about is between us. It may be benign, maybe nothing. It may be something about the person across the table, or it may be something that we would like to do as soon as we get home. It's our privacy. It's our right to whisper to each other. If she's across town from me, how do I do that? I send it encrypted communication. I'm not going to tweet it because that's not safe. I'm sorry. I'm going to send an encrypted communication using like one of our programs called Chatter or something else that will allow me to ensure that no one can hear that conversation. Now the NSA and the CIA say, well, that's very dangerous because you might be talking to your wife about something subversive. Well, sexually, I can guarantee it would be subversive. But subversive to the US government, well, that doesn't give you the right to come. Should we call the NSA and say, look, I'm about to whisper something to my wife at the dinner table. We're over at the Campbell's at 1260 Fifth Avenue. Come and listen to it, so because I'm in a hurry to whisper it. No, that's insane. And yet they want a back door, or they want a way to break into encrypted communication to ensure that we aren't talking about something offensive to the U.S. government. That is a paranoid government. You see what's happened here? I'm sorry, I'm not off track. I'm really not, because it all comes back to the back door, and I'll explain in a minute. We have a paranoid government who is afraid of us, which is why they want us to reveal ourselves to them so that they can feel assured that we're not the problem. But they'll never be assured that we're not the problem. People change. People have new ideas. You may leave here with ideas that you didn't have when you came in, and maybe you will all be subversive. The fact that I'm talking to you, I guarantee you, someone in the NSA or the CIA is going, we need the names of all of those people. Because God knows what he said. We didn't have anybody there in advance. He surprised us. So it's a very insidious problem, and it can't be easily solved by just saying, well, we'll all know better, and we'll have a better understanding of the world. There are parts of the world we should not have understandings of, and that is our neighbors' friends, our enemies, really. In some sense, it would be great to understand them, but if we did understand them, we would have to somehow evaluate our own lives, because in the understanding of your enemy is the destruction of your own perception, which is a good thing, but few can tolerate. In any case, I digress. Getting back to the government, getting back to Android. How does the government get into Android, in most cases, to find out about your life? Anybody know? What's the #1 facility uses? Pardon?
He's not partnering with Google.
That's one way.
Telecoms.
Pardon?
Telecoms too.
They partner with telecoms. If they're really hot on your trail, they'll go to Harris Corporation and they'll buy a Stingray. Okay, you know what Stingray is? The Stingray is this little device about suitcase size that they can put in the back of their patrol car or their covert operatives, pickup truck, what have you. And as it drives down the street, it picks up every single conversation in a half-mile radius. And it has the facility to filter through every one of these conversations, digitize them, and put them out on this massive storage medium, which later on you can search for keywords like terrorism, bomb, what have you, sheep, and spot the person that they're looking for. And that's scary business, isn't it? But it's your Android phone that they're using, or your iOS. It makes no difference. Let's say they spot you. What the Stingray is then going to do is pretend to be your AT&T provider or your Verizon provider. It's going to say, well, time for an update. New operating system coming in, push it down. What happened at that point? Android disappeared. You have something on your phone which mimics in every single respect your Android environment, but it is not. It is their environment.
Recovery though?
Pardon?
If they try to install an update to your phone, it has to be signed properly with the proper keys.
But this is the government in cooperation with the telecoms, and they already have the proper key. It's all here. You see what I'm saying? So it is a simple process. You're updated. Your system is gone. You are now in control of you're the puppet of somebody else. This is the problem that we're having. We don't have the facilities in our structure, in our infrastructure, in basic operating systems to stop this, because the basic architecture is designed for what? Exactly what the Stingray is doing. Getting information about you. So, what can you do? I mean, you can't even root your phones. I mean, you can root your phones, but even rooting it, what happens then? All right, you think you've removed everything. Have you tried removing, by the way, the update feature in any Android device? Successfully?
We require it at
Oh, do you? Okay, so you have procedures in place already and the proper people that know what to do, yes?
Yes.
Okay, but most of us don't have that. And as long as that update facility is in there, you're screwed. And this has got to change, it's got to stop. This is the entry point to your life. And I'm going to stop here because I'm bored, I mean, you're bored, and I'm going to take questions. You have one.
Right, in terms of technology, other than living in the sort of world that Richard Stallman conceived, where everything's free and open source using the proprietary software, what sort of recommendations do you have?
What sort of recommendations do you have? I don't know. Is anybody here running Cyanogen mod? You like it?
I got it.
Have you had any problems with it? Yeah. Just one. An alternate firmware that will prevent any updates. So you can do this. Is that correct?
Well, it always has.
Pardon?
It always has.
It still asks. I understood that you could do it so that there was not even a question. You can't freeze it. I'll be talking to the pardon?
No, you can change it to me.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
There's a checkbox there.
Okay.
Yeah, you can change it manual.
You can't. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so it'll only check for updates manual.
Okay, perfect. That's the type of solution, alternate firmware.
What about things that are like lower than average, like the basement, things that like you don't control software that like hardware manufacturer, like telecoms control it? I don't think you can stop that.
You can't stop these things, no, but they still have to have an active link to your applications to your operating system. If that is controlled, there's very little they can do.
Everything's still your location.
Well, you look at, yeah, okay. Well, that's okay. For example, what's it called, the E911, there's no way to disable that. Well, actually there is. I disabled my phones by going in and removing the antenna for the GPS. You can do that. I mean, you're online, Samsung. Okay, Samsung, I'll show you where it is, right there. Okay. Oh, this is a different phone. Okay, it's up here in this upper corner here. Take the thing apart, and you just take a little screwdriver or a tiny pair of scissors and just snip it. Gone. And you won't know your location, and not anybody else, and so you can't know where. But no one's gonna know where you are. So that's one way. When's the first time I did that? I think when we were in Norton 2 years ago. A little over a year ago. I fed up. I can't figure out a way to do this. I went and got the diagram for the phone, found out where the antenna for the GPS was, and terminated. So that's extreme. You may not want to do that. Although it's a good exercise for you, and it made me feel really good. Go, yeah, you motherfuckers, I got you now. solutions. Faraday cages, but then that prevents you getting income calls. So, but yeah, I'm being facetious here, but things like firmware changes, or go through the nightmare that I talked about originally, is where you root the phone and towel root. Are you familiar with towel root? Anybody or everybody? No.
I'm sure a lot
Yes.
of people are.
You are, yeah. Okay, towel root, because rooting an Android phone, it used to be a very tedious process, something I didn't want to go through. Now, you download an application called Towel Root, you run it, if it's successful, it says succeeded, you're in the root. Then you can go through, you can freeze what you want. Takes a lot of research. And there are conflicting specialists out on the web. If you Google what apps are safe to freeze, you're going to get conflicting reports from the different users and different versions of Android. But if you sort of average them all out and use the ones that everybody agrees on, you can have a much better environment. It's not completely secure, but you can at least disable your downloads, which is, I mean, the pushes for updates. I'm sorry, yes.
So what do you think of the new Archibald feature that allows you to click on different permissions that the apps have as they click? Ever seen that?
So why does it go?
As an app needs permission, they request that permission, you have to grant it.
Oh yeah, in fact, I developed a piece of software in conjunction with a second company called Evasive, which you install, and then you tell it what you want to enable and disable, but it's across the board. For example, you go in and say, I want you to shut down my camera, my Wi-Fi, my Bluetooth, and my microphone for the next whatever, until I say otherwise. So apps that try to use that simply get an error return, camera not working, whatever. Or your location, and all of these things you can disable, and those are good. But people either forget to use them or get tired of using them. Go, it's an annoyance. I've got every time I want to take a picture, I have to turn my camera on before I can take the picture. But there is the price of security. It does cost something. Things aren't free. So yes, those are things. Apps that will actually disable the enabling abilities you have given the apps. Anything else? Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts on what black box trying to accomplish?
Okay. Everything is a partial solution. Okay. BlackPoint says, yeah, we've got all this encryption. Well, what the hell is encryption? Who gives a shit? If in fact you've got a piece of software that's running that's counting your keystrokes, who cares? Everything that you input and everything that shows up on your screen is shared. It makes absolutely no difference. As long as you have a piece of software that can overcome or move around the facility like what they have, it makes no sense at all. You're assuming, right, once it's left your phone and in the process of moving to someone else's phone or a mainframe, yeah, it's totally secure. No one's going to get into it. Who gives a shit if I'm watching your screen? If I'm monitoring everything that you type? That's the problem that we're having. Yes, sir. The three of them. Same question?
Hi guys, I'm Andre from Winley, and what we do is we connect aftermarket cars to the internet.
Okay.
Question for you is, cars are going to get connected, right? They will be connected in 5 years. We know it's going to be a connected life for everybody.
Yes.
As it's a more connected life, different individuals have different needs for privacy. Somebody such as yourself with a high profile would definitely need more privacy than somebody like me who is a nobody to the average corporation, right? In a way. So my question to you is, you've traveled a lot, I've read your blog, great stuff. You know the human being very well. Where's the line? Where does the average person kind of draw the line? Like, hey, I want to use a connected car. I want to use a connected phone. Where's the where would you draw the line for the average user?
This is something that you have to choose. You have to draw that line. I don't know if you read the Wired article that came out 2 months ago about the Jeep that was hacked into the internet. It's connected, all right? Took control from the driver. And the driver is frantically trying to steer and put the brakes on, and he has no control, no accelerator, no brake, no steering. And they drive the Jeep off into a ditch. 5 miles an hour, nobody hurt. What if he's doing 50 miles an hour? What if, in fact, you go well, I want a connected car and I want that facility, but I'm willing to risk death to do it. Your choice, dude. I mean, I'm a libertarian, and it's your body. Okay, you want to fill it, pump it full of drugs? Be my guest. Heroin is its own punishment. I don't need to punish you further. So, do what you want. But for me, stop. I don't want to risk my life. I don't want to risk the life of my wife. I don't want to risk any harm to anyone that's in my care. So I'm going to look at those things very carefully. And the next car that I buy that has, and they'll all have, you're right, they'll all have connections, I'm going to figure out how to disconnect it. Where's the friggin' antenna for this sucker? Clip it, we're cool. All right? So, no, you have to decide this yourself. It's your life. If you choose to open up your, by the way, I've done that. Do you think that I require more privacy? No, I have less privacy than anybody in here. I had a top secret security clearance. 2 days after the Office of Personnel Management breach, I published an article in the International Business Times divulging all my secrets. And I said, here are the questions I was asked. Have you ever been unfaithful to your wife? Yes. Have you ever used drugs? Yes. Have you ever sold drugs? Yes. What kind of drugs? Every kind. How much? More than you can fucking count. So I did just out there. The editor goes, wow, you're a serious man. And they published it. So no one's going to come to me and say, hey, we know this about you because we found out about it from your file. I go, fuck you, dude. If there's something I missed, I'll call the New York Times and get them to publish it on the front page. So, but you make the decision. Okay, maybe you've had an affair and you haven't told your wife, and you're fucked, dude, if they find out and they publish it in the New York Times. So that's your choice. You must risk what you want to risk. Sorry, wife. It wasn't her that I cheated on, by the way. So, now, any other questions? Yes.
Is privacy a useful byproduct of insufficient technology, or is it a human right?
It's a human necessity. It's not a human right. Not just a right. It's a human. You know, all things have privacy. By the way, you can't find a species that does not deceive something. I mean, there's some species of plants that are so deceptive that their flowers look exactly like wasps. A certain species of wasps. So the wasps going to go, oh, I'm going to fork you today, and then move off and fork another one, and then so they pollinate that way. That's deception. All right. The lions in the savannah have a tail that swishes like reeds in the wind, so that it goes out and up just the wind. That's deception. Who are you deceiving? Your prey. The world is a deceptive place, and you, as human beings, are the most deceptive of all creatures because you have the intelligence to be the most deceptive. Therefore, you are. Now, take that as you will. But this is the world that you live in. So, is privacy a necessity? Hell yes. Because if not, we will all be at war, not just with the Russians and the Chinese, but with each other. We all hate each other. We all, you know, and we'll be changing sides constantly because we'll find out, oh God, I thought you were on my side, but you don't believe such and such. Fuck you. And so this is the world we'll have. It's a necessity. Yes, sir.
I know we're talking about government and security and privacy, but see, after all this social networking and stuff, people actually post things that they shouldn't post. So in a way, like you say, you know, it's your choice whether you want to tell somebody, hey, I'm out of my house.
Yeah.
I'll be back in 2 months.
Yes.
Y'all are free to go.
If right, leave the door open, I'll come and rob you while you're gone.
That's pretty much what it's
Perfectly okay. It's your choice. But see, this is how the gene pool gets cleaned out. We're in a massive purge right now, I promise you. And this is one of those ways where you know, genetics and natural selection and evolution said, God damn, there's too many people anyway. Why don't we just take this opportunity? Do this clean friggin' pool. Get the slate clean. And those of us who can perceive the reality of our situation and adapt to it. Do you see what I am saying? This is the prime example of adaptation. You are in a new world. All of you, if you're over 20 years old, you are in a brand new world from the world into which you were born. Can you adapt? Can you adapt? Yes, sir.
In the last 50 years, even 20 years, it seems like privacy has decreased, you know, every decade. And at the same time, it seems like judgmentalism, adaptivity, like my perception, people's perception of the other has become more inclusive. less riot in the streets at the same time as privacy seems to be decreasing.
Has it, in fact? Let me ask you something.
No, it hasn't.
20 years ago, how much terrorist activities was there in the world?
Probably the same amount. People
No,
are
bullshit.
afraid of it.
Bullshit. For example, let's just take mass murders. Before 1980, there was no such thing. It just didn't happen. I mean, other than through wars, which always continue. But what's been happening? Every single year increases more and more. All right. And if we discount all the fluff, like the vampire, what is it? The zombie apocalypse that occurred in Tennessee 2 days ago, which was, by the way, a false news report. It's still increasing more and more and more. And what are you blaming on? You can blame it on anything. We're taking more antidepressants, but you're absolutely wrong. We are not more inclusive. You may be. You may think you are. But when's the last time you had dinner with a Muslim terrorist?
Well, I just think you so.
No, I'm serious.
I don't know because they're real piece of work.
So that's the issue. You don't know. I could be one. All right. So we make assumptions. We make assumptions based on our own tiny worlds. And mine is as tiny as yours, believe me. I just have to force myself to peek out sometimes. It's scary. Oh my fucking God, that's the truth out there. It's scary. But no, I don't believe that is the case. I think it is our selfish perceptions that, oh, I know more and I perceive more, therefore I am more inclusive.
You're saying race riots in the 60s, women's rights, rights for transgender homosexuals, even the things that you've said in the player here in this room are things that 40 years ago you would have been shown, right? And
Yeah.
I don't think anyone in this room thinks less of you just because you have your wife or gun drugs or something.
Right, but it's also my attitude towards myself as well. But see, what's happening, we've merely shifted from one problem set into a far greater problem set. Do you think that it's not far more invasive? And have we not lost more rights by everybody's loss of privacy as something that is a fundamental right? So no. While we've always had the race riots, we've always had the oppression against women or the oppression against the other, the enemy, the non-me. We've always had that. Now, we're all the non-me. All of us in the same boat. All of us being oppressed, and we're being told that it's cool because it's a better world. See, we're more inclusive. We don't have, no bullshit. We have a president who sits down every Monday morning and chooses who to assassinate. Can you imagine Theodore Roosevelt doing that? No, he I want to go bear hunting this weekend. You know, I don't want to. What's this assassination? No, but you think that is more inclusive? Fuck me. No, we are in a world of absolute chaos. If you look at it globally, why are we all feeling more inclusive? Because we're all shattered together. We are all of us. We have lost the same thing. Therefore, we are of a kindred spirit. We must look at the reality of our lives.
Isn't there also a machine that creates fear in being outside of the majority to speak up? Making a surface level peace that doesn't really exist?
Why do you think I'm so paranoid? I mean, I speak up. I don't know about the machine. I do know that it is safer to act and pretend to think like others, because that is a pretense, believe me. I don't care what you think. You're not going to think like others. You're going to think for yourself. We live in a world of selfishness, and this is the fact. And you can accept it or you can deny it. But I want to ask you, who is the most important person to you in this room? Yourself. Yourself. If you deny that, then you need to explain to me how you got to the situation that you're currently in, because it is an enviable situation, and few ever reach that. So if you accept that in you, and the person sitting next to you, tell me, where's the inclusiveness? That's the end of my story. Unfortunately, I've got to go. And I've enjoyed this very much. That's $20 per person, thank my wife. Thank you very much.
Thank you.